Sit there, all things up.
Yeah.
I'm expecting Chris, let me make sure that he's in.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yep.
Yes, we do.
All right, item 5, let's call the meeting to order. All right, did everybody get a chance to read the minutes? I seconded. Well, I got both. How about we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Sorry, I said second, but who was first?
I thought she was.
I'll motion to approve.
All right,
Are we approving, wait, are we approving or are we opening the meeting? It's just.
It's just early the minutes. So
Okay. And then Allison second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Those not in favor, say nay. Okay, we do not have any visitors today. So we'll move on to the old business, which is the streetscape project.
streetscape project, and folks have added things. I don't know that Heidi, your items got onto the one that was on the link.
Okay.
So we'll just briefly swing back here and talk about these, the project inclusion list. I get to that one right there. We added Chris's post clock that he talked about last week or last meeting. And then Heidi, you just want to talk about your inclusions?
It's pretty much everything we had already talked about.
Okay.
I think the only thing that wasn't on there was maybe bicycle racks, since we're now going to have the ice cream place and the
Okay.
kids are riding their bikes, that we have some kind of bicycle racks in the district to put their bicycles.
So I know Fran has updated the list, so we'll
Right.
issue out the new list to you all after the meeting.
The other
here.
ones were ones we had already discussed as a group, you know, with the poles with the.
Yeah.
You know, plants and the banners to go across, and the only one that I thought that was new would be the bicycles, probably with all the kid traffic. Now they could, children traffic that could be coming in that area.
Other project inclusions? People want to think of at least to start?
Do we have an end date for our wish lists that we want to have it all?
So it is in generally this calendar year, so next month.
Uh-huh.
So Vera Carvato is starting to do the outreach to design first, because we need to find an engineer to work alongside the county's engineer for all these things, and so they'll probably be one that we've used many times here at the city. I don't know which firm. She'll work on that, and then Renee Tyler, the new DCM who's here, I'll talk about her in a few minutes, will be part of that as well. You'll be a part of that selection as well, because it's obviously part of your project and such, but it's really gonna be figuring out what we can fit in the places we have out of these types of elements, and then what our budget affords along the way. So I think we're moving on down the line, but I do know, I think from the grant, probably spring to summer of next year, we're sort of set in, here's the project that's going to be done. Once the construction breaks open.
So once we get a city engineer that's working on our side,
Yeah.
Webster side, that's the time we really need to pay attention and start trying to give them the input, because they're the ones that
Right.
kind of gonna.
Maneuver wires and
Okay.
square footage and ADA requirements and all that kind of stuff. So take more of Jeff's parking spots that he offered up so willingly. Spot.
Parking,
singular.
needing more parking, can I ask how it went about that the city bought the house at the end of Elma? Made a parking lot?
The current Elma lot,
Yes,
I don't know how it went about, but I can research into it.
I mean, I own a lot on Elma. and I
Yeah.
was-
So the city can enter into negotiations with anyone to buy at any time. I have always looked at Bagel Union and seen traffic back onto Elm, that sooner or later, we're gonna end up with some need behind that row on Big Bend on the north side, but that's just me. Again, that's anecdotal, not data driven, but the city can start that negotiation anytime. It just has not been listed as a priority. Either I think rightfully from the district to say, we need to add more parking or a through lane, or up to the city council and such. So we just hasn't been.
I would add that to the list.
Okay.
What about better just signage for where the parking is? That
Yep.
might be something that might be more
We can
urgent
easily,
than
yeah, we can easily do that now, even before the streetscape and such, so.
people are starting to learn about that home a lot more, but they don't know about the other one. That's
Right.
on the other side of the street as much.
Do we have just a blue parking sign on that side?
It's there. I don't know. Maybe we need one like closer up.
Okay.
That's like more parking this way.
We can get on that.
So did they buy a lot next to the Alma lot now?
Well,
That,
the Alma lot was a house.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of plants from it when I saw it was coming down and just went over there and dug them up. But my house is at 440. There's the third house in on the left, on the right hand side, on the east side. I do have a entrance to the lot for Union Bagel
Mhm.
out the back of my house. Because the
Right.
people behind me with the red shutters, they put a fence up,
Mhm.
but there's a way through there. I mean, it's,
so the city recently bought another lot?
No. She's asking about how we went about the Alma
yeah.
lot.
How
Yeah.
did that one get out
Right.
there to be
Yeah.
bought? I mean, like I said, I've got a lot.
I think it's identified need, and then we, how we do all things, right? We identify a need, and then we start looking at what are the possibilities and solutions that we can get through.
This little house next door to me has been for sale forever, but the two together would be a nice little spot. The yellow house right against the parking lot is rental.
Which is owned by the city.
Correct. Well, they may be interested in having parking.
I think that was,
There's a lot with a stand there.
I think that was suggested to them and they were not interested in that at this time, but they might change.
Yeah,
Their-
yeah, everybody's not gonna ride a bike.
Correct.
And the house behind all of Chris's buildings is for sale, so.
Ooh,
Uh-huh.
ooh. Well, so now from your perspective, and think about this, just certainly not ready for today, but think about in the next couple months, is that something you want to more formalize in idea of a letter to the council or such that you really should explore this and look at these potentials? Not saying you have to do it, I'm just, you have that ability to make those recommendations,
My
so
assumption that it's probably already under contract.
it probably is,
I
but
would think the house, yeah.
That was a plumber forever. It's always stacked with all kinds
Yeah.
of
Yeah,
constructions.
it's a tear down.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
But yeah, that house behind Bagel Union on the Elm side.
the Hickson House,
With the red
it's the
shutters.
Hickson House. As in-
It's what?
That is the Hickson House, as in Hickson School,
Oh,
the one right next to Bagel Union on Elm, so
Is it a rental?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
But
so.
it's on-
That's one of the complicating factors of. Bagel
Yeah.
Union's
I think
parking.
Anders owned that. I think Jim owns it.
All right. So keep getting your ideas to
Mhm.
Fran for the time being.
And I do expect next month we'll probably have some bids from engineers, should be back in, so.
I do love the blocks.
Mhm.
Just very classy. And the oversign. Which have we talked about where that would go, or is that tomorrow?
So an over the road sign, obviously over Big Bend takes county permission and approval, which is not undoable. It's a lot easier if it goes over Elm because it's just our permission and approval, but. We could talk about coding over Big Bend, just a matter of again getting the county to agree that there'll be something over their road, so.
Over Elm. Signs.
I mean, there's a beauty of, as you drive sort of up that hill and you're coming up, it's right there. I mean, it's a beauty gateway thing there, so.
And it would just say welcome to Webster Grove.
Say whatever we figure out to put on it. That's,
Webster.
that is appropriate.
For our folks on-
Yeah. Heidi's here.
Okay, okay, let's move on to new business. So the Hawken House concert series. I sent this over to Fran because they contacted me. This year. In past years, past several years, probably like 8 or 9 years, I think.
That's simple.
Yeah, we have sponsored as a business district, the Hawken House concert series each year. This year, it's gonna be a little bit different. They have one international band for the first time. And also they're going to have pop-up restaurants in the Hawken House Hearth Room while the concerts are going on the front lawn. So that is the difference, and here is the flyer for that. But the sponsorship is still the same at $500 for the whole concert series. And so we would have to vote as a committee to, as a business district council and commission to support that again this year.
It's in your budget, so.
So
I do
and
think
typically we put it in our budget because we've been supporting it for several years, but
last year they did do a nice job of like mentioning Crossroads. I feel like
Right.
sometimes.
no, they're actually pretty good about mentioning it repeatedly.
Yeah.
You know? So if everybody wants to take a look at this stuff, that's for their Hawken House concert series, and we could take a vote. Would I motion to vote or just vote? Okay,
Motion to spend $500 on that.
okay, motion to spend $500 to support the West Gross Historical Society and their Hawken House concert series this summer.
I'll second.
Okay, and then all those in favor say aye,
Aye.
and all those opposed say nay. Okay, so we will support again this year.
Here we go. Moving right along.
Now, did you send an email? Okay,
I sent an email to Heidi asking if I could speak a little bit more on the CID process today, which is something we've been exploring in the BDC. For those who don't know, CID means Community Improvement District. It's essentially a different model of collecting money instead of the property tax model, it would be sales tax based. And that's something that different districts can explore, or there's also chat about it being a Webster-wide thing. But I wanted to make sure everybody here was up to date on what that might look like if Crossroads would want to switch to that model, or if that's something that you guys are interested in, or doing the Webster-wide.
what are the differences between the existing model and that model?
So there's far more flexibility with the community improvement district from what we call the old special business districts, or the special business districts that you have. And there is a different array of revenue in there. So on the special business districts, like you all have, you can have property taxes and business license surcharge. That's it.
Okay.
On a CID, you can put in any of those. Usually it goes to sales tax because it's the easiest thing to get the owners to buy into because it's not them paying the increased cost, right? It's the customers coming in.
However, as service organization, we don't pay sales.
Yeah,
tax.
exactly, right. So service organizations, take a nice walk in a CID, that's fully sales tax. Sometimes you see them build it in with a little property tax to cover everyone as sort of a base, place, and then sales tax on top. The other significant difference is it is not an entity of the city. The special business district is an entity of the city. A CID is a separate political subdivision, so it's like the library. The city appoints the board, but from there on out, that board is in charge of coordinating with the city, but also managing whatever that CID is in charge of, whether it be marketing or the infrastructure and such. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. It works very well in many places. It's different than this model. You all have the number one sales tax collector in the city. So you've been in a place of a very low property tax base compared to the other districts. You are in the driver's seat when it comes to sales tax.
So to put a CID in place, what does it take? I mean, could Schnucks say no?
Schnucks could say no, but if you draw the district and 50% of the district says yes, then it happens.
It's a vote, right?
Yes.
Resident.
Yeah.
Resident. So
By resident or property owner in that district, so.
So is it just the business districts that vote, or is it the residents?
However you set it up.
you can set up a CID, you can just draw a line around this area. Or you can draw a line around the entirety of Webster Groves and include
Okay.
CID. Yeah. But we could say it stops before Schnucks or ends at Gore, but it's a matter of how they set it up. So
Gotcha.
there isn't any parameter as to how big or how small. But if we're gonna do it, if we don't include Schnucks, it's
Well, that's stupid, yes.
Yeah.
or we don't include the rest of the larger community.
Right, and that's the other fundamental question I think Business Development Commission is wrestling with is a lot of folks who aren't in a business district, how do we get these resources and this help that your type of taxes and revenue pays for? So what's the broader reach of something like this? But also then where do the business districts land if you're gonna put in this other tool? Do we continue having,
So the other business districts are saying, how do we, okay, wait,
the other business districts are also contemplating what do they do if the SID becomes a thing, which I'm not saying we've all signed off on it, but people are generally warm to the idea. They realize there's more need for more resources to do marketing or infrastructure and such around the whole of the city. So they're warm to that idea. But if you put a SID in, what do we do with these other three existing business districts? They can stay just like they are and keep going on. They can be shut down. They can be changed in size and scope and the revenue streams, reduced in some way. All those options are on the table, but I think folks are looking at us for an answer, and we're literally saying, this is all very, very much 30,000 foot. What do you think might happen?
Okay, so let's say all of the
Okay.
business districts go to a SID.
Yep.
So what protects our business district yet again
Mhm.
from being the loser in all the business districts?
In terms of scheduling and getting in conflicts and all that?
Are
How do we get our
getting the
piece of the
benefit?
pie?
How do we get our?
So
piece of
if
the
you-
pie? Because
if-
we have
right.
lost every single time on the development of our business
Sure,
district.
yeah.
We have lost every grant, we have lost every request. I mean, and we're talking a period of 20+ years.
Yep, so if the three business districts are gonna go into SID and they're not one giant, well, first of all, if they're a giant SID, you have no real fundamental protection other than the people on that board. It's no longer the city, it's the people on the board that say, make sure we have an equitable distribution of the funds.
And a large one, a whole city one would include like Marshall area.
Depends however you draw the district,
Right,
so.
right, and they would,
Right,
That would be
now,
beneficial.
you also could create one, if you want to make sure you never lose out on it, you
Right,
create one that is just Crossroads.
right, right.
You create a SID that is Crossroads, and it
Beneficial.
doesn't matter, you can have another SID that comes over the top of it even.
yeah, we'd have somebody else.
So the
right?
citywide SID could come over the top, of it, but you could say, we're getting half cent off of Schnucks, off of sales tax. And it's staying, it's gonna stay between Schnucks and the railroad people.
Would the city attorney help to establish that?
We-
Or do we
we-
have to hire outside?
We would, Gilmore Bell would probably get hired as well, they're the ones who usually handle those tax setups for us and such, so.
So they would pay the fee, the city would end up paying the fee to develop the SID.
The way we are going down the road here is that BDC is looking at making a recommendation at some point. The city would end up taking on, okay, we're gonna be the originator and helper of getting this off the ground, we'll
It's
pay
a
in.
big cost to put it together.
Yeah.
Legally,
Not legally,
Yeah.
yeah. because-
The legal piece is big, once it's going though, then it's
then it just generates money.
just generates money. So,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right though, and this gets back to, if you're in one big commission or one big district. How do you protect and have equitable? I hear you. I think it's gotta be real tight and clear in the governing documents. I've seen some SIDs that are very particular about percentage of spend in certain places, but. You know, that all depends with what you convince your rest of your fellow colleagues, they're gonna go citywide to put in, so.
Well, it would behoove us to put our SID in place first.
Yes, that's what I think.
Yes.
too. I think it's a good opportunity for us to kind of play our grounds,
Step up.
build up, yeah, and kind of be like a leader in this change. And then if other business districts follow suit, or if they want to do a big one, I mean, a big one would take a lot longer than it would take for Crossroads to pull them together, I think.
I am not by any means saying your streetscape is gonna cost way too much money, because it's not, we put it aside, but I'll tell you, if you have the SID money, that makes the streetscape a whole different financial ballgame. Because you guys make, as you know, your revenue is 20,000 a year, right?
Right.
You don't put that much away in savings every year to help out in that process.
But we should, yeah.
But then the SID board can decide how they distribute that money.
That's
right?
correct, that's great, it's
If I
not a
remember
city,
right, Like even in Crestwood, when they did that, Johnny Mac's got a new roof from the SID.
that's correct. So this is that's a fundamental
For
protection.
side grants, there wouldn't be a $2,000 limit. Say if somebody wants to put all new glass or whatever, you go to the committee with your the SID and say, I'm gonna put a new facade on.
We could buy the train
Station, yeah.
or a house and turn it into a
Right.
parking lot, you know?
I think,
But you gotta have years of building that SID money. You know,
Right.
At a penny on every piece of sales tax money that
Right.
comes through,
But,
but
I mean-
it does add up.
You know, we're just like, we're 20 yards from the finish line.
Yeah.
Finally getting this after 20 years.
But we've been talking about it forever.
Yeah.
I mean, was pregnant when we first started talking
We've
about
been
this.
working so hard.
Yeah, then she's
And she-
graduating from high
I
school.
mean, we were told at every step, you know, like, this is a guaranteed grant, and it didn't happen. You know,
I also watched them put the roof on the train station while I was walking the dog, and they put the layment, the rubberized layment over the holes. They did not put new plywood or new
I
board
know.
on the holes.
I saw that too.
hope Santa falls through.
My husband had to fit, he's a former roofer, oh my gosh, I had it.
So how then do we,
is it something you wanna look at?
Absolutely.
So I will have Neil Bruntrager, our city attorney, and quite likely Gilmore Bell. Mark Creighton, Shannon Creighton, or Mark, what's his last name? I can't remember his last name. Anyways, one of those two, those attorneys likely come and kick off with a conversation at our next meeting. We may have closed session.
Okay.
That qualifies those
Yeah.
potentials, so it may be a closed session conversation simply to protect legal standings of all things, so.
Oh, awesome.
I will, I cannot, so you know about revenue confidentiality. Under income tax law, I cannot tell you exactly what Schnooks takes in sales tax. I can't tell you an individual business, I can tell you an aggregate, or I can tell you like where they rank and such, but just so you know, so if you want to say what Schnooks making in sales tax a year, I can't say that number
Well, we
to
know
you.
it's more than us put together.
Yeah, that's true, yes, but I just want you all to know, so you're very clear on why Eric's not telling you that number, so.
I can't answer that question.
You can't,
No,
yeah.
The changing of
I work for Desco.
grocery sales tax is something that is happening, correct?
What's that?
Grocery sales
yeah.
tax.
At the state level, at the state level.
I believe they haven't passed the bill yet, but it's one of those bills that's out there to reduce the amount of what we call tax base. So what is taxable in the grocery store? Missouri is one of the places that doesn't have grocery foods off the tax base. So there's a lot of folks saying we shouldn't tax food, as a hunger insecurity issue and such. That's a hell of a lot of money. I mean, it's about overall for the city, I think it's 13% of our general fund is grocery sales tax. Brentwood is closer to 30 to 35%. Pretty much their entire park there, that bond revenue is all funded by grocery sales tax.
What about the gas station? That's mostly fuel tax, that's.
Mostly fuel tax, but their grocery items do get coded and applied to the grocery tax. So when we pulled the grocery tax report to see what the impact would be, we got gas stations, we got honor boxes. In like places where the little honor box things get set up and such, so vending outfits, so. So that is a potential that could affect sales tax, but ultimately still there's enough sales tax that's going through that one institution alone that you are still benefiting from a lot. So,
And this isn't like a, snub to the rest of the city. We could still do a citywide sit, so it's not like us, like, we're out,
Yeah.
So,
they could do a citywide sit, they could do a sit that goes right around you, you know what I mean, and not.
Right.
Or
But we
we
have
say
to
on our own.
protect our interests because, the other business districts have been nothing to cooperate with us to protect our interests.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
seriously.
not as concerned about like Old Webster or Old Orchard as I am about like people like K-pop or like people who are just not included at all, because I see them as similar underdogs. But they can.
Mhm.
About their own.
I think they've
Also-
taken organizing around to come to BDC and try to steer a whole big opportunity, right? And you all folks are obviously looking parochially, and I think in the right way, at your district now and saying, we could go to a different model and have a different type of future ahead of us, so.
All right, that brings us to the BDC update.
Well, that was kind of a BDC. We also just are finishing up budget stuff. And we're gonna do another coffee in August.
I thought it was September.
Oh, September, yes, we moved it to, right after. Thank you, Fran.
Are we talking about Sid? Do we? We'll talk.
Yes,
Okay.
Yeah,
in fact, that's the only thing on the agenda.
right.
So. And the idea is to learn more,
Right.
correct?
We just wanna keep putting the information out there.
The questions you had about what, that's what other people are asking, those same questions.
That's pretty much it for the BDC.
City update?
I don't see council members on. You'll have a new council member next month, June. Mayor Arnold will be your council member. She has she's very protective of the streetscape project and making sure the county stays in its lane as she puts it. So she wanted to be on with you all. So
We need a cheerleader.
yeah, so she will be your council liaison for at least the next 2 years through April of 26.
Oh, awesome.
We have lots going on. There's budget time, obviously. That's it. Thank you. Heidi, are you coming tonight or who's
I
coming?
am coming tonight.
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Did you give me the,
The report?
Yeah.
You should. You came
I
from
did.
Fran?
okay, I gotta look.
It was the yours and memo from Eric. I can resend it to you.
Sunday night.
Maybe. Sunday night he came?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look again. Okay. I shall be
And
there.
literally just take those bullet points and summarize them down. You don't need to go long at all.
Oh, I won't.
Traffic advisory and
I am
police
not
community
pushing the
engagement are
lights
gonna
of
take the
truck.
night up, so we're gonna let them have those moments. Budget is underway. We have lots of great news about budget. Revenue is, inflation sucks and it's terrible, and we all don't like inflation, but inflation's done wonderful for revenue estimates for the city, obviously in the same period. With sales tax and with our interest returns. We all are very cognizant of what could happen, though. If a crash comes here, that's a scary thing. We are predominantly now a sales tax organization, the entire city, so we're volatile. Property taxes maintain a nice little floor, but we'll be ready at a moment's notice within a month to be able to if we have to do layoffs or, how we're gonna fund through services if we see a
What was
crash.
the article in Webster Good Times about 20 years, we're looking great, surplus?
So we've had this is the largest budget, mostly because of the bond revenue that was just passed in April added into it, that we've ever had. The surplus is higher than it's ever been, so we have one-time reserves. But the point being is the ongoing revenue, when it dips, we have to trigger the council. How are we gonna solve this, the deficit or a potential deficit? And that's usually they pull in reserves. But it is, my point being is that they could say, no, ongoing revenue and ongoing revenue expenses have to match, so. Yeah, so I mean, that's their decision ultimately, but. There is plenty of money in reserves, and in fact, the council's gonna have a conversation about their fund balance policy, which is what sets their reserves, because. Ultimately, we have a lot of money sitting in savings account, and when you're government sitting on a lot of money, people begin to ask, why are you taxing me? If you're just going to sit on it, so. To the tune of like 14 million sitting in reserves, which is. Well, it's about 68% of our budget, way more than we ever possibly could need in a downturn, so. So I would expect to see that some of those projects that we've all thought about, some things that have never been funded and such, is gonna start to get talked about by the council and move forward, so. With some streetscape money. You're gonna be the envy of everyone because you have power in all your light poles.
Oh, yes.
Every district is gonna want new poles now because you guys are getting
Oh,
power.
it's okay. They can figure it out themselves. It takes 20 years to get them. 20 years.
What about the new positions?
Yes, thank you. So that the other positions I want, just the two positions. Renee Tyler is the new deputy city manager of community vitality, the title. She'll be taking my spot with the business districts. That is not just, I'm dumping you and she's coming in. It'll be a 4 to 5 month overlapping period. So she will start in June. I expect really probably for the remainder of this calendar year, I'll still be coming to meetings. And she'll be, overlapping so that we can transition things across. So she has business development, so BDC reports to her as well and such. And then Tiara Thomas is our new public affairs and engagement manager. She starts on May 30th. And so she will be handling communications and such, working with the Crossroads social media that you've created, which I highlighted in the annual report.
I see that.
Yeah, you created social media all on your own. I don't think the other districts did that on their own, so that's just kudos. So,
They both did it quite some time ago.
that's quite some time ago.
Fucker flying under the radar.
Never. You started liking city stuff. I was like, who's Crossroads liking city stuff? So those two positions will start this month. So in June, and obviously police chief is hired now. Really in June, we're back to full team across the board. We gave you a bigger table so you can have more room to spread out.
What are you looking for? Cause I saw a connection on the Friday page, they said they had job openings.
Oh, we just listed the job opening, so we have some police officer openings and such, so just general job
I did
openings.
not click the link, so
Yeah, it just goes to the general page with all the available openings. We always need, if you know of any young people or anyone who likes a part-time job at Parks and Recreation, we're paying good money. Good money to chase tennis balls. Parking's great.
Great. Everything has and bagels going okay. I want to jinx it.
Four codes out
Well, I
there.
know, I was like, I don't know, half a dozen codes now.
That's my job, I just watched the phone. So nobody takes.
Don't tell anybody.
We just talked about how the fact that we don't have that many cones as a city, like we don't own
I
a
gave,
load
I
of
gave
cones,
mine up.
right? I mean,
I
it's,
gave mine up.
they're precious commodities and
Right.
someone rolls over one or takes off one, it's like, oh, code. I'm like, we just go
Gotta be a
buy.
better long-term solution there.
Can we go buy 30 cones and keep them somewhere, right?
Yeah, I I think, my supervisor's still waiting on, county. To see if they could do anything because of some Big Ben.
Yeah.
But for the meantime,
Some giant planters or something, old
well, they
car.
got to run the plan.
Oh, yeah. no,
They already.
No, they can't, somebody
Well,
run into
big-
those.
Those big
Oh.
round ones that look like big sewer.
Yeah.
I think,
They have-
but on that point, when the county was talking about it, didn't they have to leave some opening because of the bus stop is still technically there? They were talking about, if I remember it,
I
Jeff,
think that's right.
that they're gonna probably make a raised concrete, maybe ribbed, with a painted color on it,
They were also talking about the turning radius for
Yeah.
the big trucks.
Right.
I think that's one of the biggest issues.
Yeah, they just paint it, crosshatch it, probably keep people from kind of working there,
That's
Yeah.
easy.
maybe,
Yeah, that's easy.
say bus stop. Is the whiskey bar thing still,
Yep,
It is,
what are we doing?
it is good to go. Julia's brother has,
My brother.
oh, is that right?
He actually wanted me to send a message. He's hoping to come to a meeting soon and introduce himself. He has twins in the NICU right now, just born, so he's busy, but thanks. Yeah, it's opening in October, is their goal. Yeah,
so that will bring some nightlife.
they're gonna have the exact opposite hours from bagels, so they're not gonna open until like 4 to 11. It's their main window.
Heidi, I don't know, it sounds like some money for your industry though, between bagels and booze,
Yeah,
they're gonna be coming to you next. Fix this.
Oh, off Elm, correct?
No, it's the big-
I didn't know the store moved. I had a lady walk up looking for it and I was like, they closed, I don't know.
They're down at.
Yeah, I saw it now when I drove through. Like, oh, I didn't know
Yeah, where
that.
Devin used to be.
I didn't know to tell the lady.
Okay, our next meeting is June 19th.
And that is not gonna work, sorry, June 19th is Juneteenth, it's a city holiday, we're closed, so we'll need to move it either the week ahead or the week behind, so if you wanna pull your calendars out. And Josh, I know that I saw your email to Katie, so this is irrelevant, this is your last meeting.
Yeah, unfortunately. I'm hoping to come back at some point. It's just been crazy.
Is
And I'll be out of
everybody-
town next month.
Would everybody be okay with the 12th?
Turn it down.
I think that's better than the week after too, because then if we're gonna be talking about 4th of July.
Right.
One of the things I noticed after we published the agenda. Oh,
June 12th.
June 12th.
Everybody's good to go on that?
Chris, you good, June 12th?
June 12th.
Okay.
Chris, do you have anything before we adjourn?
No, sorry, I was late. I'm just struggling to log in. I couldn't find the link and then the open one, I was just a viewer in the background, so I'm sorry.
Oh, no worries. Okay.
Chris does have cornhole coming up in mid-June.
June.
Mid-June, June 15th, we're shutting down Gore again. There's a stage going on to the street for a traveling Beatles cover band, cornhole tournament, micro distilleries, breweries, food, events, all for Angels Arms charity. I think Eric, you've got the street signs going up.
Yep.
So there'll be lots of fun stuff happening. Everyone's welcome.
What's the name of the cover band?
All together now.
It's not ticket to the Beatles? Okay, you're not coming.
No, I wanted ticket to the Beatles, but no, couldn't get them.
And you know why you couldn't get them?
Cause they're got this street,
On the same day.
same day as the street party.
Yes, I know.
Hmm.
What
It's
time
a
is your-
lot of Beatles for one day.
Yeah, all in one day.
Been a hard day's night.
Oh,
We went there.
hey, Fran.
Yes,
Did you remind everyone to send in their wish list for the street development items?
yes,
Okay,
we talked about it.
sorry, thank you.
Everybody likes the clock.
I thought the clock on the corner would say welcome to Webster and then Crossroads District. It would be just kind of nice right up there across from the bagel place.
Yep, that's good. Okay, anybody have anything else?
I just wanna let you know, I wanna hold your hand.
Uh-oh.
Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn
I'll motion to adjourn.
in a second?
I'll help.
Okay. Everybody.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate your service.
Thank
Thank-
you.
Bye, guys.
Have a good one, guys.